Welcome to the Family Office, planning for the people who matter most.
This is something that I'm surprised about. We can go right into it because I did not think it was going to go this way, but now it makes me even think even more that this crap, they were just expecting it now. And you're going to get what I mean right now here in a minute, Len, when I drop this on you, but it almost seems like everybody knew about this and everyone knew, and they were just, we're just waiting for the shoe to fall, and now we're just going to clean it up, and that is this Cesar Chavez drama. That broke late last week or mid last week, and the cleanup activity, or changing all the names, taking all the statues down, all this stuff. They're saying they should replace it with, what was his second in command that came out and completely blew the lid off of it? I can't remember. Dolores Huerta. You got to see Dolores Huerta, right?
Got to get that R word, man.
You're still in California,
area, man. You're in Houston.
but you're still in California, so you got to get
Texas.
It better. Yeah, but mine's a little bit more like El Salvador and that kind of stuff, whereas yours is more Mexican, so you got more of that on there. It's a different
okay, all right.
The two non-Mexican people or Latin people. But
yeah, it's really sad,
almost
man.
expected. It's almost expected, Len. The cleanup and the defacing is too smooth for me, where it's like, yeah, he did it. Yeah, we knew it was happening. Let's just pass it over, clean it up. What are your thoughts on that? Because Cesar Chavez was massive. He was a pantheon as described by a lot of people. This is huge, especially if you grew up in Southern California. I don't know what, the 70s, 80s, 90s. This guy was everything. I remember studying him in school. Cesar Chavez. So when were you at with it? Because this guy is nasty, like Weinstein level nasty, like gross. What is going on here?
Yeah, it hit me on a couple of levels because, especially being in California, one of the things that really happened for me is I got in politics, and when I was in college. And so I was part of African Student Alliance, and we were very closely connected to Mecha. And so I started learning about the farm workers' struggles, and I didn't eat grapes for 5 years just because I was in solidarity. It was uvas no.
You were all in. Did
I
you
was
have a t-shirt
all
too?
in, man. I didn't petition, but my addition to the struggle was to not eat grapes. And so I participated with my dollar. I exercised my voice with my dollar. And so I love grapes, and I didn't eat them for a long time. And so, on another level, one of the school districts that I worked in, which is San Bernardino City Unified, there's a school named after Cesar Chavez. And then in the city where I grew up, it was in Riverside, California, there was a park named after him. And so that park used to be called Bobby Bonds, who was an African-American baseball player. And so as the population started to shift, the name of the park also changed names. And so there was some controversy around it, but it really wasn't too much of an issue because there was some baggage connected to Bobby Bonds Jr. because of the whole steroids thing. So because of that, the shift was okay, no big deal. But now, the same day the story broke, Cesar Chavez School, they boarded up the name of the school. They covered the pictures that had his face on it and everything really quickly. And I just think because it's, this whole idea that is a bipartisan issue is when you're talking about, SA and you're talking about children and you're talking about violating them. That's a non-starter, and instantly you're going to be canceled, and rightfully so. And so I'm hurt by the fact that it happened because he's such a pantheon. I'm also, concerned. I wish that it would have come out earlier, but you can't blame her. She's older now. She has a right to her own privacy. She has a right to live her life. And it's just so many different thoughts that go through my head, but I'm really sad. But to answer your question directly, when you look at all the streets names that were being covered and all of this and happening so quickly, I just think because Weinstein, Epstein, and all of those issues have been such a hotbed and so divisive. when there's an opportunity for justice to be exercised, when the person who has come forth is also a person with tremendous credibility. She has two of his kids. And so with that, I think swift action was necessary. Where do you stand on the whole thing?
So at first, when we were talking about this and I was looking at it, and I understand the gravity of it just simply because I grew up in Southern California, so I know how much he was talked about, right? Mm-hmm. So I thought it was going to be, and it was just going to be this pushback and But now I'm looking at it going, dang, like whoever's in charge of this stuff, right? I mean, who even knows who's in charge of this stuff? I mean, who even knows? It's the person. I don't even know who's in charge of this stuff, and that's
it's a lot of different entities. That's for real.
That's even that lens. Even the bigger problem in the world today is nobody even knows who does anything anymore. Like these things that are rules and laws, like we all ought to. I'm not saying and promoting anarchy in any sense or anything like that. I'm against that. Like you go to Louisiana, like New Orleans, there's some anarchy going on there. People don't even have license plates on their cars. It's crazy. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that we ought to like all pick our heads up right now and really pay attention to the rules, laws, and regulations that have been minting down the last 20, 30 years, 40 years in this country, because I don't think the producers and the doers of the world, not the ones that are, I don't want to say the producers and the doers of the world, I want to say the majority of those people that don't question the system or don't question anything. I was one of them. And you just kind of look and go, oh yeah, just keep going. It's just the way it is. You just keep laying down production. Right? You just keep laying down work because you're just wired that way. And then all of a sudden, and this is exactly why you see so many people disenfranchised today of the working class, and not just the working class. I'm talking about the $250,000, $500,000 working class people, the people that did everything they needed to do to get to that high epsilon. And now they're going down. We're getting screwed still. You really just got to look up and go, wait a minute. What is going on here? So I'm surprised because they did it so fast, Len. So that just leads me to believe that they knew it was coming. Really? They knew it was coming. They knew it was going to happen. So it's not a big deal. Why isn't it a big deal? Like, or is it, dude, let's change it out real fast so no one even knows that it happened, right?
I have a theory about it.
So it can go away fast. You know what I mean? Like it's too fast.
Okay, I have a theory about it. So I think what happened is because Cesar Chavez was a humble person that represented the labor class, and the person who brought it up has such a high degree of reverence and has been around and is so credible, and the fact that he's gone, I think all of those factors play a role. So like, for example, to me, the question that you raise about why it happened so quickly for Cesar Chavez is the same question that I bet you and I both have about why justice isn't moving so swiftly on the people in power that are alive right now that are connected to the Epstein files, or the names that are there that are redacted.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And so I think it has to deal with the fact that these people are still alive and they still have influence and they still have power, and the power of the purse to influence and make moves is still relevant. And so therefore, economies shift because of the tectonic changes that could happen if these people are outed. Whereas Cesar Chavez, he's dead.
He's dead.
So these tectonic shifts, there's no real meaningful change that's really going to happen, except for the fact that his reputation and his name is tarnished. But he's already gone. So
given the timing then, if he was still alive, it would be dragged out.
I think so because then he'd have to go to court and they'd have to prove it and all of that stuff in this case. And I also think that, how Martha Stewart years ago was convicted and, she went to jail, and I'm not saying she was innocent, but she was definitely the poster child of the whole fraudulent activities that
insider trading.
Yeah. And so I think that in a sense, Cesar Chavez was kind of like the sacrificial lamb in the broader sense that, and of course, this is just conjecture on my part, that, is showing that, hey, we are taking action when somebody is known to be a person that perpetrates and victimizes young people. We're going to take action. So you can use him as the scapegoat. Just my theory.
Yeah. Well, however it may be, I just think that, again, it's not inspiring to see it, because you just consistently see the same pattern, which is these people who were leaders held in high esteem.
Yes.
But then at the same time, we're witnessing their frailty and their humanity. And maybe we ought not to sit back and go, oh my God, I can't believe it. Maybe we go, well, he is human. He is human. Not to say that, because again, I don't want to, there are a lot of victims. I'm sure there are a lot of
100%.
Young women that were victims of his, and young men or whomever. I mean, who knows? I mean, if you go one way, usually you go the other way. That's usually how they all are.
Yeah.
They're sitting here right now going, oh my God, right? And I don't want to desensitize that or try to say that, you don't deserve justice, because you do. You absolutely do. I mean, I'm not a victim of essaying or anything like that. But, it's just, I can't believe it, because you're like, who's next? Who's next? Who's next? And then you look at the elected officials that we have in office right now, like the circus show that Pam Bondi's doing with the Justice Department, and then it's hard not to loop her into the same category as Karen Bass, who's cruising around doing parades like she's JFK in LA while the city is burning down around her. And it's like, what the hell is going on? And Gavin Newsom is just explaining his way out of the hole that he put himself in with his hands. And Trump is trying to find the exit ramp for what's going on now with the Strait of Hormuz and gas prices. Like, I swear, I got gas and it went up 20 cents in like 2 days.
Yeah. I've been taking my wife's car to the gas station. She filled up her car a week and a half ago. It was $62. Just yesterday, it was $82.
Ooh,
$20 a tank.
I haven't gotten out of the 50s, the mid 50s to fill up yet, but I know I'm in Texas still.
You're on your way there, bro. You're on.
I don't know if I'm on my way there, because see, the thing is here's what frustrates me. Okay, so the Strait of Hormuz is jeopardized right now, and now you've got, which again further illustrates my point that I'd say happened. And now you've got Iran bombing neighboring countries, and now you've got infrastructure being attacked. But the Strait of Hormuz, I don't understand. And this again is the backwards thinking. It's just like NATO buying oil from our enemies, like Russia, right? Like they say they're enemies, but they're buying her. And then so Trump says, all right, cool, let's go start drilling off of the coast of California again, off the federal pumps, right? The things out there. And he says yes. And then all of a sudden, you have Newsom and all his guys say, it's illegal, you can't do that. And they're trying to block it. What is going on? Like, what, why would, so instead of, and here's the problem, instead of us pumping our own oil out of our own place, we're going to buy it from foreign countries. Why? So Strait of Hormuz being closed, creating oil pressure problems, midterms coming up, we're fighting with each other. What is happening here with that, Len? Like, why can't we just all get along with that? I don't understand. Why is it that, and why can't we just go bomb, just end it already? Just go put up a carrier, whatever. I understand you can't put a carrier in the Strait of Hormuz, but what the hell is going on that we can't protect this little thing here? And why are we fighting with each other to reduce the problems that we have here domestically? We don't need anything out of that area. It should just be a glass pit at this point. Like, we don't need anything there. Why are we so reliant on that? And we keep creating these relationships. California has enough oil off its coast to supply the whole country. What are we doing here? Why is this? I understand it's a problem for our allies. Like, Japan is toast, China's toast. This is more problems for them than it is the U.S., but I'm curious what your thoughts on the Hormuz drawing now.
Your question has so many layers, so I'm going to try to be as succinct as possible. I might have to cut off my stream of thinking before I'm done. But anyway, okay, so when you look at the Strait of Hormuz, let's look at the war itself. So Israel has an existential threat from Iran. We've already discussed that. And so the United States has been making plays, I believe, to keep its supremacy on the world stage. And the only way to do that is to maintain its military might and its economic might. And so the first move in that equation was Venezuela. So we go into Venezuela, we take Maduro out, lickety split. It's easy. We put him in our jail here in New York. No resistance. Everything's good. We get access to that.
Let me pause you on that.
Sure.
Let me pause you on that real quick. Okay. Why is it that happened so fast without any drama and oil prices didn't go down, but yet, and they didn't go down at all. And it's been 90 days almost now later, and they haven't gone down yet. And that thing, you're telling me that thing hasn't been ramped up yet. We're not pumping thing out of the ground there. But yet this happens with our Hormuz and Iran. We don't even buy oil from Iran. But yet, and they're sanctioned the crap out of them. Yet that has caused this problem. Something doesn't seem right to me there, Len.
I'm going to try to connect those dots.
Perfect.
I'm going to try to connect those dots.
Because that's where I'm questioning it. I'm
going to try to connect those dots. Okay, so Venezuela was the first shoe to drop from the perspective of the United States. Now, meanwhile, Israel is watching all of this happen. Now, again, this is just my speculation based on research, but I'm not saying this as a journalist. This is just me, Len Cooper, speculating. Okay, so I believe that the other U.S. presidents, so Bush, Obama, Biden, they recognized that getting in bed with Iran was a problem. And also Trump said it too when the other people were in office. But I think what happened, my belief, is that because Venezuela was so easy, I think Trump underestimated Iran. And so when Israel recognized this, they decided to go and bomb Iran and drug the United States into it. And we said, okay, well, since we were able to take care of Venezuela so quickly and we bombed Iran 6 months ago in June and rendered their nuclear capabilities defunct, we can go in and do it again. And I can declare victory, get in, do a massive attack, get out, and we're good. I think that was a major strategic error. He underestimated Iran's response. Now, so he goes in and now Iran's like, look, we were at the negotiating table. You continue to bomb us. Now we're going to retaliate. So Bahrain, UAE, Qatar, all of those U.S. bases on all those places get targeted. There was a recent report that came out that suggests that Iran has bombing capabilities that go out as far as, I believe, 4,000 kilometers, whereas before it was 2,000 kilometers. Now, that's only speculation right now. It hasn't been proven, but there's suggestions about that, which means that puts pretty much all of NATO in danger potentially. Okay, let's take that. Let's put a pin in it for a second. Now, you've got the Strait of Hormuz that's here. Okay, here's the problem is that because there's a narrow passage that's only 23 miles wide, you've got a real bottleneck because 20% of the oil's pass through there every day. Now, I believe, coming back to Venezuela and making this connection, I believe that Trump felt like, okay, we can still support Israel and hurt China at the same time because a lot of that oil goes to China. That allows us to maintain our economic supremacy. Now, here was the fatal error, in my opinion. I believe that Trump and the United States did not believe that Iran was going to respond the way that it did, especially when their leader was killed and 40 of the other people were killed. I don't think they understood that they had a diffuse mechanism of power where they can continue to act even when the head of the snake's cut off. Because even if his son is disabled or whatnot, that's not stopping Iran because they already know they've been preparing for this. So now you have these miniature boats that can go up and down the Strait of Hormuz and says, look, we're going to go ahead and allow China to come in and come out. And because of that, we can continue to sell them, oil and things like that. So I'll wrap up my point and I'll let you jump in. So that's the reason why Trump just sent out a tweet saying, hey, Iran, if you don't cease, all of this, we're going to bomb you into oblivion. And then he kind of steps back and says, hey, we're doing pretty good. Negotiations are starting to come alive again and everything, because all he's doing is controlling the propaganda machine. Because here's the thing, Chris, every country will always operate in its own self-interest. So if things start to get worse, where those countries that are democratically run cannot get oil through the Strait of Hormuz, and now electricity starts to turn off vis-a-vis Cuba, people that are in a democratically elected republic will rise up and they'll tear that place down. So if it's between protecting and supporting the United States or keeping their own doors where they can continue to maintain power in their own country, they're going to do what they can to do that. They're not more concerned about the United States in their own country. And so that's the reason why this is a really big problem, because with all the mines in the Strait of Hormuz and that small little choke point, the United States can't financially afford to police that area. So all these little speedboats, it creates that asymmetric warfare. There's so many more layers that I could go in, Chris, but I'll stop right there. We are in a quagmire because it's very easy to start a war. It's very difficult to get out and get out of it in a way that's unscathed. If Trump stopped right now, all Iran has to do, last statement, all Iran has to do is keep doing things to provoke us. We'll have to go back. We're not done by a long shot.
I think what's going to happen here with this, and I only think this way because I'm bullish on Trump. And so far from what I see, he hasn't made any massive fatal errors yet in really? Anything he's done. No, I think everything's
totally disagree. But I know
you disagree with that. I know you do. I think, and the only reason why I say this is because I've watched him I've watched him a long time. I mean, everybody has, but I've really, really, really watched him since 2015, 2016, when he ran for president the first time and he won. And I watched how he responded after he lost in 2020. I'll just say he lost, I'm not into that crowd that says, the election was stolen, but the numbers were weird. The math was weird, and we can all agree on that. The voting numbers changed only for that election. They only went like this, and then they went back down. It's just weird.
I think we can both argue that there's
so
weird things that happen.
It's just so weird, right?
Yeah, hanging chads and all of those things. Yeah,
it's kind of almost like the 1,500% increase in hospice care needed in LA under Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass's watch. But don't worry, Karen Bass is in the back of that limousine doing parades like she's some upstanding, qualified politician. When in reality, she shouldn't even be charged to be. Karen Bass shouldn't even be able to be allowed to be a PTA president at this point.
Oh, come on!
She's so
Chris.
Disqualified.
Come on,
Len,
Chris.
come on!
Let's stay.
Let's stay on topic.
Yes,
let's stay on topic because I always love to get on these. My
yes,
favorite people.
You do. You love Karen and you love Gavin.
I love Karen.
We're talking
Iran
Gavin, and we're talking Trump.
I love Pelosi. I love Schumer. I love all these guys. So. Here's what I think is going to happen, and I think it's already happening. The Gulf states are looking at this, and the Gulf states know that Trump is daddy. They know it. They already know. And the Gulf states are mostly selfish states, meaning if they can get richer and they can get more powerful, they're going to like that. Dubai likes to be Dubai. Qatar likes to be Qatar. Saudi Arabia likes to be Saudi Arabia. So the list goes on and so forth. And what I mean by that, Len, is that Trump has already showed NATO what we're going to do in our position, right? NATO is NATO. So what I think Trump is going to do is he's going to go here in this area of Middle East, and he's already done favors and he's already made deals, and we all know he's really good at making deals, especially with Saudi Arabia and all those guys. He's done it before. I think what Trump's going to do here is Trump is going to establish or spearhead the establishment of that Middle Eastern coalition. and I think that coalition is going to build there, and the United States is not going to have to police, so to speak, or govern, so to speak, the Strait of Hormuz, because I think what those countries are going to do is say, you know what, it's time for us to step up, and it's time for us to protect our interests here. And I think what Trump is trying to do, because again, it's really an Israeli-led conflict, right? The Israeli-led conflict against Iran. But I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to provoke these other countries into creating a coalition against Iran. Because in the reality, if you could create a coalition in that country, like a NATO-style coalition, I say style coalition because NATO is disgusting the way it is right now. It's just such a freaking cesspool. But anyways, a functioning NATO-style alliance where everyone's going, oh yeah, let's be at peace. Because at the end of the day, we want what? Free trade. No, we don't want really bad trade deficits. We want to have, peace, harmony, and we want to be able to live the way we want to live. And you guys want to live the way you want to live. And we don't want to mess with each other, but we want to trade and prosper with each other. I think that's what you're going to see here. And that's pretty much why he is who he is, I think, and that might be just a little bit too much sugarcoating it for him because he does have a lot of work to do, and I don't know how he's going to pull it off. But someone like Trump always pulls it off because that's what he does. He's been doing it all his life. So I think the thing that makes most sense to get out of this war, because you're absolutely right, Len, wars are easy to start, they're hard to get out of. I mean, look at Russia. Russia did not think it was going to have a hard time in Ukraine, and it's still there.
4 years.
Is it really 4 years? No, it's not, is it?
4 years. Yep.
Bro.
Yeah.
No.
Keep cooking. I'm going to tell you right now when it started.
Way, bro.
Keep talking. I'm going to tell you right now. Right? When did the war...
Russia-Ukraine. Okay, in Ukraine. Russia-Ukraine war. Curious
February 24th, 2022.
Okay, so 3, 4, 5... Wow, it is 4 years. Ouch. Okay. But here's the problem. Here's the reason why Ukraine and Russia war still go on. There is no coalition because NATO's lazy. So okay. and NATO's lazy. And correct me if I'm wrong, Len, but NATO's only response was, "Well, just let them be part of NATO." That's not the answer. That's the exact reason why Russia's mad.
They don't want Ukraine to be a part of NATO. That would be a major snap.
Yeah, Ukraine wants to be. They want to be part of NATO, but that's not going to happen. Ukraine wants to.
Of course, Ukraine wants to.
Of course.
That'll never happen.
So the difference here is that you have an inactive, unproactive NATO alliance that should be fixing that Russian-Ukraine war thing, but they're not because that's their area of the world. We fixed Venezuela like that, right? And what happened? That's preserving and protecting balance and peace in our hemisphere. The next problem we have to deal with is we have to figure out how to deal with Mexico not being able to govern its country because it's pretty much governed by cartels, which is fine. I mean, it's always been that way, but now it seems to be even more so. But what's going to happen in the Middle East is you'll see that coalition come online. And ultimately, if you can create that type of coalition, Len, I think that's where you will see this war go like this. And Trump will be able to bow the United States out and go, "Hey, here you guys go," and we'll give direction or we'll give them weapons, we'll sell them stuff because we're capitalists. We're going to sell them our cool shit, and we'll give them guidance, and that's what we ought to do. Because again, the world wants our morality, but they don't want us to be there all the time.
Okay,
that's what I think is going to happen.
I have a very specific, pointed question for you, and try to answer it as succinctly as possible because I really am curious as to how you're thinking about this. So you are reportedly a Trump apologist. You believe in his strategy.
OMG! You just called me a Trump apologist.
Okay, that's too harsh.
That is harsh. You're harsh with me today. I'm a Trump. I'm bullish on Trump.
You're bullish on Trump. That's the word. That's the word. I apologize. You're right. I should not put words in your mouth. That was wrong. You are bullish on Trump. So here's my question. Based on your bullish perspective,
I won't hold it against you.
Okay, thanks. What do you think is his strategy, like succinctly, if you could jump into his mind, what do you succinctly believe is his strategy to both get in the war and exit the war? What do you think? I know you don't know, but what's your thoughts about it?
Well, first of all, I don't think Trump really wanted to get into war with Iran.
Okay.
I don't really think conflict, whatever. I don't think he wanted anything to do with that. But I think what happened is Israel looked at what we did with Venezuela and they thought we could do the same thing. Okay. Right. But the problem is that Israel, is going to do what they want to do, and they want. I think what the issue is that Trump does not want to spread democracy like that, and he doesn't want to do regime change, and Israel does. Okay. Israel is playing the neocon playbook, and Trump's not a neocon. Because the neocons are what helped get Trump out of office last time, right? Because the neocons don't want him there. The Cheney coalitions, right? The Dick Cheney coalitions, those guys, they're still there, right? Lindsey Graham, he's there, right? Hey, they want this to happen. They want us to go boots on the ground. They want Marines there. They want us to go in on this because they don't care, because Schumer and all these guys and Lindsey Graham, they know they're going to be in office when Trump's out. They know it. They know they are. They know this is what they are. So they want this because this helps them. It's just like the homeless problem in California. It's never going to go away because the politicians that run the homeless programs know that the more homeless people they have, the more money they can make. Because that's the racket, right? So the solution, Trump didn't want to get into this. And now he's stuck because Trump's good friends with Bibi. And I don't want to say that Israel's wagging the United States dog, so to speak, because I don't think it goes that deep. But I do think there's a lot of influence there. But I think Trump got into it, and Trump's like, and he's frustrated with it because Trump does not want distractions. And I think that he's got to find a way to make this work and to get out of it and to make himself look clean and squeaky clean. And I think the easiest way for him to do that is to create a Middle Eastern coalition. And I think that anyone agrees that if we do create a Middle Eastern coalition, that would probably be the best thing for everybody in the world. Because realistically, is Iran doing bad things? Yes.
Yes, no doubt.
Okay, so what other country is going to check Iran besides buying their crap and making them and empowering them to do more bad things? Because the responsible people in the room are who? Who are the responsible people in the room today? China, US, Japan, India, I think maybe. Who are they? Those are the biggest countries economically, right? Or so who's the so realistically, Len, if you could boil it down, who's the most responsible people? China, Russia, US, Japan, right?
India.
Okay. Why is no one doing anything about Iran being bad? And those people, besides the United States, are buying their stuff and giving them money. So because again, who else is doing anything to stop this country from being bad or from because eventually it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when a country like Iran does something that just completely obliterates everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what who's stepping in? That's the problem. Because again, it's history repeating itself. No one stopped in when Germany was doing anything bad. No one stopped again the second time. Who stopped us? Or who stepped in? The United States. Now, that seems to be the issue consistently is that no one ever wants to step up and do anything about it. And now we have to. So I think that's kind of the challenge where we're at.
And so with that being said, I hope that all of you have a fantastic rest of your day. Be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Until next time, take care.
Conversation has given you clarity on your next steps. Please share this episode with someone who's walking the same path. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss future episodes. And remember, planning ahead isn't just prudent, it's an act of care. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on The Family Office.